最近上海的房租暴跌了吧？我不做租赁我都晓得，知道为什么吧？外国人都走光了呀。以前永汉路啊，这里全是外国人，现在没一个外国人，全是中国人。外国人都走光了，以前你现在。
Following this, he brought up the rent situation in Shanghai. He said that in places like Mingyuan Century City, Jiali Garden, Huijing Garden, and Wutong Garden, the rent was usually tens of thousands per month, and the tenants were all foreigners.
世界500强的跨国公司，因为他们都是公司出钱，财大气粗啊，现在都走了呀，走了，这么多房子空不出来，那需求没有出来，没有新的客户出来，因为你这空白填补不了的。财大气粗的世界500强啊，你想怎么填补呢？没办法填补啊，所以现在上海的房租它肯定跌的。
In the video, he also mentioned that a friend of his, who sublets properties, used to make a fortune, but now he's losing terribly with no tenants for his properties. Real estate is an important pillar of China's economy. After 3 years of the pandemic, China's economy is rapidly declining and the real estate industry is on the verge of collapse, with housing prices and rents plummeting drastically. Shanghai, being an indicator city for the property market, has seen a further decline in luxury housing prices and transaction volumes recently. Industry insiders in Shanghai say that many foreigners have left as foreign companies move their headquarters out of Shanghai. Now, nearly 9 out of 10 rooms in the areas inhabited by foreigners in Shanghai are vacant, and commercial office buildings are also experiencing the same situation. The market slump has exceeded expectations.
没办法的，现在经济不好，外国人又走了，那经济不好，肯定房租要跌的呀。没办法，房租几年之内都不会涨的，可能还会跌。
This video has received 15 million views within a day, and the publisher said on June 6th, "This video has had too much impact, and we worry about it causing negative effects on the public," so they removed it. Currently, the video is being widely shared on Twitter. Local real estate insiders say that the volume of second-hand home transactions in Shanghai has started to decline significantly this year, from a peak of 24,000 units in March to 15,300 units in May. According to local real estate agents, some newer neighborhoods have seen prices drop by about 5 to 10% compared to February this year, while older buildings have seen prices drop by 10 to 20%.
If you thought that China was in a good position, then I will urge you to think again. Or if you ever thought that China was a self-sufficient country that doesn't really need other people or other nations to survive, then I will say to you, you are totally mistaken. Because I believe the video you just watched has given you an insight into what is actually going on in China. China is in a very, very bad situation. China is feeling the pinch severely. There are a lot of things going on in China, and I can bet you none of those things are good. None of them are good. You know, it's good to have policies in place. It's good to have rules and regulations in place. But it's important to make sure that those rules and regulations that you put in place are business friendly. That people you are dealing with will feel comfortable dealing with you, given the rules and regulations that you've put in place. And oh boy, who knows how to make rules more than China? China is a country that knows how to make rules, and those rules are like from up down. China is feeling the pinch. The economy is really, really suffering. And you have to understand that China relies mostly on export. And the 3 years lockdown hasn't helped situations in China. And many countries around the world are suffering from inflation. So if people have little or no money to buy Chinese stuffs, then they would import from China. And if China cannot export their products, then their economy would be in total stress. And that is exactly what is going on. But before I continue giving you my opinion, watch this video.
Over in China, there is a big problem. Their economy is stalled. It was speeding on the highway for most of the last decades, but now the engine has broken down. So what is Beijing doing? Well, today their central bank decided to cut 2 interest rates for the 1-year loan and for the 5-year loan. Now, China is hoping that this will kickstart their economy. How does that work? Time for a quick lesson. We know that banks charge interest on loans. But who fixes that interest? Who decides how much a bank will charge? That's the central bank of the country. If they cut interest rates, then loans become cheaper, meaning people can borrow and spend more, which is good for the economy. If they hike interest rates, if the central bank hikes interest rates, loans become more expensive. So there is less borrowing and consequently there is less spending, which is bad for the economy. Now, China is trying the first strategy. They're cutting interest rates to boost loans and spending. By how much? 10 basis points. This is the first interest cut by China in 10 months. The last one was after the disastrous zero COVID lockdowns.
So Chinese leader Xi Jinping has to do whatever it takes, or must do whatever it takes, to bring the economy under control. Because if people start getting more than what they bargained for, there will be protest. And everyone is trying their best to avoid that. You know, I tell people, building structures is a good thing. Building roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, these are things that are necessary for any society to thrive and to grow. But sometimes building things that really do not need to be built is of no use. Building roads that goes nowhere is of no use. Building structures that nobody uses is of no use. And if there's one country that is the champion of building things that no one cares, that no one uses, is no other than China. They are the champion of stuffs like that. In fact, the number of good cities in China is despicable. The numbers of roads that go nowhere is uncountable. Local governments just build, and build. And like most people have said it, this can continue. You can't just keep on building stuffs that no one is using. You can't just do that. You can't keep up. And China is finding that out the hard way. This also relates to Africa because I know China is doing a lot of deals in Africa. So Africans or the African leaders must shine their eyes. They must know what kind of structures to build and how valuable or how important or how useful that structure will be to the people and how it will support the economic growth. Don't just build things because the Chinese are offering. Don't just build things because someone has offered to build it. You must be very strategic. You must have a think through when doing things like this. You must ask yourself, how significant is this structure to the people and the country? How is it going to better up the lives and the daily activities of the people? And how economic viable is the structure? Don't just build things like China is doing. We must learn from this and build things that are really important. Because if we do not do that, we will find ourselves in a similar situation like China is right now. One more thing. We are borrowing a lot of money from China. And if China is going through a lot of stress, if Chinese economy is suffering, they might just not be so tolerant of us. They might just not be considerate of us. And when it's time to pay back their loans, they might not have some sympathy for us if we say, we are sorry, we do not have the money now. Can you give us some more time? They might be like, we are suffering. Okay, our economy is suffering. Our people are suffering, so we need the money now. So we must be very careful. Leaders must be very, very careful. But you guys out there, what do you think might be the reason why the Chinese economy is slowing down? What do you think might be the reason why many foreigners have left China? And what could be done to fix this problem? Share your thoughts and opinion in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, please do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good way, like the way you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.